kisha bagi ya sadaka kwa club, yeah. Traffic madrag ubaindai, traffic mandai zina drag. God maya mwizi amemeki stories za shamba amegrab. Kono inahonga imevaa bracelet ya colors za flag, yeah.
Teamwork, kwani boss iko nene. Hey. Oh yeah. Man. Usipime mwanaume. Oh yeah, man. Here we go again. Usipime mwanaume. Here we go again. Oh yeah, man. She say she don't want no problem. She had my last song, that was a ringtone. Now me sit again in the church. Before ni talk, just give me a reason. Yeah. So tell me what a man got to do to be next to you. Yeah. Oh, tell me what a man got to do to hold on to you. Yeah. Staki wende, wacha waseme na kufana wewe. And the way that you fly, I cannot deny, nitalipa ndege. Staki wende, waseme na kufana wewe. And I cannot deny, way that you fly, nitalipa ndege. Man, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Oh yeah, the man, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Oh yeah, the man, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Oh yeah, the man, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Man, usipime mwana. Oh yeah, the man, usipime mwana. Your body shaped like an hourglass. Mtoto tam like a bananas. Making night boy want to bad bananas. Was I so nan girl? So tell me what a man got to do to be next to you. Yeah. Oh, tell me what a man got to do to hold on to you. Yeah. Staki wende, wacha waseme na kufana wewe. And the way that you fly, I cannot deny, nitalipa ndege. Staki wende, waseme na kufana wewe. And I cannot deny, way that you fly, nitalipa ndege. Man, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Oh yeah, the man, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Oh yeah, the man, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Oh yeah, the man, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Man, usipime mwana. Oh yeah, the man, usipime mwana. Yeah. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so give me a chance to say hello. Spend some time and money from Pacho with night boy. Yeah. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so give me a chance to say hello. Spend some time and money from Pacho with night boy. I got to tongo in time. Oh yeah, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. Usipime mwana, I got to tongo in time. And night boy, I got to tongo in time. Pacho, I got to tongo in time. Teamwork, I got to tongo in time. With the one, yeah, I got to tongo in time. Ooh yeah.
Radio. Pawa. I was just 18, young and single and sexy, having a party. Nothing serious was on my mind. That's when I met him, tall and handsome and lovely, smile like an angel, had a sparkle down in his eyes. He told me he loved me, would do anything just to have me. He told me he wanted to be the one who will make me happy. I said to my mama, Mama, I think I found him. And Mama, don't tell me, girl, now stop being silly, can't you see? He is
show. I'm responsible. Girl, you must be wrong. You are a liar. How can I be sure? I'm responsible. Girl, you must be wrong.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do now? Tell me. Mama the man, he be do me so wrong now. Mama the man, he be do me so bad now. He make me feel like a black Cinderella. A little laughter, he telling me. I tell the neighbor they know. And then he open, he go. And I did not know that the fool had a wife at home. If you see him before I do, just tell him he's a liar. If you see him before I do, just tell him he's a liar. He is a liar. But I was in my time. A liar. But his lovely eyes. He is a liar. And his sexy smile. He is a liar. But I was in my time. A liar. But his lovely eyes. He is a liar. And his sexy smile. A liar. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
He is a liar. Wahoo. He is a liar. Playing right here on Power Radio. Welcome on this very chilly Wednesday morning. You know how we do it right here on Power Radio. #Retire Wednesdays is what's happening today. So you do want to stick around and find out what Retire is all about and what we shall be talking about. But my name is Wanyoike and I'm your host. And I'm excited that you're cruising with us all the way from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on the hottest breakfast show happening right here on the Power Morning Drive show. Now, remember, you can get in touch with us on our social media handles. We are at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can find us on at Power Radio. And also, you can catch this live broadcast on our YouTube channel. Head over to our YouTube channel. That is Power Radio. Subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. Like, comment, share, watch, do all the things. And also you can get in touch with us on our website. The live stream is going on right now on our website, www.power254.org/Power Radio. Now, let's get into some music. I come back with the traffic updates and then we get into the news headlines, both locally and internationally. Keep it right here on Power Radio.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
What do you mean?
I bought you a Rolex, I bought you a watch. Salafu unanyamsha very late on the lot. What do you want? Another big clock? Ama unataka ninunue city clock? Once again, you're an African timer. Why don't you ever keep time? Okay, I'm an African rhymer.
African timer. You never keep time, you're just an African timer. You're not offender, you never do. African timer. You're an African timer. Say African timer. You're not offender, you never do.
I woke up mapema kama nimefurahi. I put on a shati na nikajifunga tai. So I went down for chai na maho za mayai. Kufika huko sito hata milk hajabai. Eish jo, madam, boss hata elewa. Tuhini job ya tano na bado mina chelewa. Enyewe huyu wife amenitupisha mao. Na
nafika kazini kitu kama saa mbili, but my secretary bado nafunga ofisi. So I buy a newspaper and begin to pass time, cause this is African time, we just sit and mark time.
Alafu kitu saa tatu, she easy na matatu, say akini na kama, there's so much traffic jam. These are the signs of an African timer.
That's true, an African timer.
African timer, you never keep time, you're just an African timer. Unapenda kuchelewa tu. African timer, an African timer, say African timer. Unapenda kuchelewa tu. African timer, you never keep time, you're just an African timer. Unapenda kuchelewa tu.
Enda kuchelewa tu.
Unapenda kuchelewa tu.
Enda kuchelewa tu.
Unapenda kuchelewa tu. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, fat or thin, or if you are a Jamal or a fine-looking chick. This is all about time, precious time, and if you don't keep time, then you're an African timer. You never keep time, you're just an African timer. Unapenda kuchelewa tu. African timer, an African timer, say African timer. Unapenda kuchelewa tu. African timer, you never keep time, you're just an African timer. Unapenda kuchelewa tu.
Enda kuchelewa tu.
Unapenda kuchelewa tu.
Enda kuchelewa tu.
Unapenda kuchelewa tu. You know who's an African timer. You know who's an African timer. You know that I hate African timers. I hate African timers.
Okay, Maya, whether it's a Sahi, whether it's a Rolex, African timer, hii ni shida yako. Wacha kuchelewa.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Boomba Clan right there with African Timer. Are you an African timer? Perhaps that's why you've not yet tuned into our Power Morning Drive show. Please make sure you do that right now. Oh, it's playing right here on Power Radio. My name is Wanyoike, and I might be a self-acclaimed African timer, but we do not say. My boss should not hear this. And it's playing right here on Power Radio. And my name is Wanyoike, and I am quite excited because we have my guest in the studio. Good morning, Mr. James Kamau.
Good morning, Ann.
Hi, how are you?
Niko sawa kabisa.
Umemaliza kuosha nini machungu ya tear gas, makali ya tear gas?
Nakwambia.
Umemaliza protesting ama bado? We are still vigilante.
Of course, we have to be vigilante.
Yes.
And this thing has to continue.
All right.
Yes.
Sawa. All right. So Mr. James Kamau is here. You know how we do every Wednesday. We have a very special show called the Retire Wednesdays edition. And Retire is an acronym that means rights, inclusion, transparency for accountable institutions. So yeah, it's a program that he shall be telling us a little bit later when we get into our conversation of today, which we shall be talking about civic engagement and our role as citizens. You've seen what has been happening in the air in this side of the sub-Sahara. And so we want to take an in-depth look at what that could potentially portend for democracies across Africa, but not only that, for what is the future of civic engagement. You know, when we talk about our Kenyans go out there and publicly participate, whether it's through protests, whether it's through the, demanding for social change, demanding for political transformation, as well as economic transformation, what does that look like? And what is our role in terms of participating where it bites us? Right? So we want to stick around for that. Again, remember the hashtag to use is a Power Morning Drive Show. You can also get us on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, as well as X, the very infamous X. We are at Power Radio. Also, our YouTube channel at Power Radio, and www.power254.org/Power Radio. Let me get now looking at the roads today, if you are heading towards town from Thika Road, from KCA University up until the Pangani interchange, there is a little bit of a snarl up right there. So you do want to take it a little bit easy, but soon after that, going towards Globe, things are moving. We also have, where is this? Limuru Road, looking quite good until Aga Khan University Hospital, all the way till the roundabout that goes to Thika Road, but things are moving from that end. Kiambu Road looking hectic from Gertrude's in Muthaiga all the way towards the Pangani interclose as well. So if you can avoid that route, please do so. Lower Kabete Road looking good, but things get a little bit messy from, where is this? Spring Valley Police Station all the way till Sarit, and then after that you are easy. Nice and slow access into town. Wanyoike Way, as usual, things get crazy from, where is this? From the mall, yes, the mall, all the way into town, around University Way, and then things clear up by that. So in case you have any incidents or accidents that you would like us to know about, kindly do so, and we will be sure to come back and let you know which routes to avoid, and maybe give you a context as to what is happening. Mr. James Kamau,
Yes,
let's get into it now. Yesterday, we witnessed yet another quite, infamous, I would, for the lack of a better word, Mr. Raila Odinga and his handshake. They're back, and this time around, it's Raila and Ruto. Somebody put out a photo collage of how, like, during the different regimes, Mr. Raila has been giving handshakes. We saw that during the Kibaki regime. We saw him doing a handshake during the Uhuru regime. Now we have this one during the Ruto regime, and who knows what the next one is going to look like. So as I look at our papers today, that is the story that is making headlines, the Daily Nation as well as the Standard newspaper. So there's a story here. Let me just read it, and then we can discuss it further with Mr. James Kamau. So page 4 of the Daily Nation, the story reads, Inside Ruto Raila handshake deal that split Azimio. President William Ruto yesterday announced plans for a broad-based political arrangement, lending credence to reports he is planning to co-opt the ODM led by veteran opposition leader Raila Odinga into his besieged Kenyan Kwanza administration. The Nation has learned that the president is toying with the idea of a government of national unity and might consider bringing opposition figures into his administration as a way out of the political crisis by the protesting youths who have demanded a major reorganization of his government. So you did listen to that speech that Mr. Raila Odinga was able to give us. What are your thoughts about? Are we yet again seeing a blow to, first of all, opposition politics in this country, and what do you think this could mean for the future of the Ruto administration?
Thank you, Anne. I think the first thing which you need to do is to pass our condolence message to all the young people who died during the protests. It is something which was so much uncalled for, especially for the aspect of the police using, a lot of force, and also using live guns to
Bullets,
shoot the protest. We have, I think, more than 40 young people, very promising, who went down, who were protesting and, of course, expressing their constitutional rights, and they ended up dying.
Yes.
By doing what each and every person within the country feel is right. So we would want to pass our condolences message to them, and also inform their parents, inform their relatives, and even their friends that we are all together, especially at this trying time.
Yes.
It is even trying time not only to their families, but also to all the Gen Zs and even the nation at large. Yes, coming back to what happened yesterday,
Yes.
We are seeing another dialogue, handshake between two people. I mean, it is so much sad to see when every time there is some crisis, especially crisis within the government, we are seeing some politician rushing and doing what we are calling in quotes dialogue and trying to do what we are saying is handshake, trying to solve their own challenges instead of addressing the challenges which are facing the country. I think this is the major issues which we should be looking about, or which we should be thinking about. Are we here talking about the personal vendettas or the personal ambitions of the political leaders?
Yeah.
Or again, can we talk about what is happening within our country?
Yeah.
The real issues. The real issues which the Gen Zs, the real issues which the citizens, the common citizens are asking the government to do. Yeah.
Yes.
So it is sad. It is sad. Instead of addressing those real issues, we are seeing handshake.
Yes.
And this is what we are calling that ni kama Raila anataka serikali again kuingia kwa mlango ya gani?
Yeah.
You don't every time when there is crisis within the state function, instead of addressing the real issues of the crisis, you should be at the forefront of discussing those issues and of course bringing in tables all those stakeholders who are who have problems. And that's why what we saw yesterday, of course we comment the aspect of the IBC amendment bill which was signed. It is good because it is long overdue. Actually, the government should have signed that amendment bill long time ago, because right now we're having some constituencies. I think like in Garissa, they lost their members of parliament about 6 months ago. But they don't have an MP, they don't have the CDF kitty for 6 months. Why? Because of the IBC amendment bill. Again, it is time that we need to look at this IBC amendment bill, because right now we have the full structure of the personnel within the IBCs, their staffs within, but it is sad to hear that an election cannot happen because we don't have the commission.
Right.
The commission, yes, they spearhead, but again, there is the full, there's a full staff of the IBC.
Right.
So I think that bill also, there is need for some change in that bill, so that we see how, again, it fit the society more. Because again, the way it is right now, it is absolutely sad. Because again, the bill itself give rise to a committee which will select the commission within 90 days. Let me ask you, what would happen right now if a nature of God happens, like we don't have a nature of God, like something happened to the president or something happened to some of the members of parliament? What would happen? It's gonna be a mess. So I think this is something which different stakeholders need to look at it, because I believe we have a full structure of IBC and its staff, not necessarily that the people who are supposed to make the decisions are the commission themselves. Yes.
Right. So for those that do not know what we are talking about, let's just roll the clip and listen in to Mr. Raila Odinga's speech yesterday.
Pawa Radio. Tune in and power up.
All distinguished Ladies and gentlemen who are here this morning, we have come here today for a very solemn occasion. And I'm happy that this function has been arranged to take place here at KICC. As my colleague Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka said, we are at a crossroads as a country. And times like this requires leadership, the country to move forward. What we are doing today is a culmination of a process that began sometime last year when President Olusegun Obasanjo came to mediate and the conflict that was raging on at that time. We agreed when we sat together, myself and Brother William Ruto, that we would follow the route of dialogue. And that is the reason why NADCO was set up. NADCO then proceeded to dialogue and ended up with a very voluminous report which has contained some very fundamental recommendations. This bill that has now been signed into the law today.
All right. Yes. So that's just a snippet of Raila Odinga's speech yesterday. So one trigger word: dialogue, 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 dialogue. The backlash, even with Kenyans on Twitter. I woke up this morning to just a whirlwind of we are tired of dialogue. Even as you go to page 6 of the Daily Nation, there's a story about Gen Zs telling Raila off that keep off tumechoka na story ya dialogue. I mean, I think Kenyans wamechoka na stories za lip service. Dialogue is not going to cut it from this point going forward. So what do you think Kenyans are demanding that is bigger than just this dialogue? Because it's like we have started reading in between the lines. Yes.
Actually, Gen Z wanaita Raila the father of dialogue.
Yeah.
The father of every time.
Dialogue.
Dialogue. But look at those dialogues which are, in many cases, Raila Odinga has done with even the previous government.
Yes.
What fruit
has it borne?
Yes. What fruit? Definitely, it's about their political ambitions.
Agenda, yeah.
It's somebody pushing their political agenda, political issues, and that sometimes it's at the interest of the community. It's at the interest of the citizens. We are not addressing the real issues which the citizens
are demanding for.
Want.
Yes.
And this is this is a clarion call for even some of these political leaders. I think their time is, the time is ending. I mean, we need other very new leaders,
new
other
voices,
new crops of leaders, people who can amplify the actions and the voice of the citizens, people who can hear what the citizens at a local level are saying, and of course amplify these at a higher level.
Yes. Somebody then would argue he's a leader of opposition. Of course, that's his role. Then the other front is like, yes, but you're being in opposition does not mean that you should, because it appears to me as if he is in support of the Ruto government, and that's where the conflict comes in.
Yeah, it's the same case which you're saying that you don't have your cake and Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're in the opposition. I mean, you should be checking the government. Yeah.
Right.
Being in opposition means that you're in government in waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But right now, it's definitely like what people say, that you're in bed with the government.
Yeah.
So when you're in bed with the government, what will happen? The plight of the citizens will not be considered at all. Every time you'd be following what the government of the day say.
Yeah.
So every time when you're talking about the issues of accountability, when you're talking about the issues of social justice, the issues of transparency, it should start from the opposition side.
Yes.
Because they should be checking the government. But right now, what we're saying, we are seeing the oppositions.
It's like we don't have an opposition. It's like just ceremonial.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because again, I'm happy because the revolution and the protest which was done was not politically instigated. And this is something which is good and something which
citizen-led,
even the politicians should stay and watch. Because when you're talking again about the discussion which we're doing today about improving and making sure that the citizens understand their role in the civic space, it starts from the GNZs. It starts from them. It starts from the citizens understanding that this is what we are able to do because it is entrenched in the Constitution.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's why when we see the opposition being in bed with the government and they're not promoting the issues of democracy, and we have always said and seen Raila as the father of democracy. But when it figures some point where in many circumstances and in many issues which people are saying, this is not right, the other one is not right, we have not seen him commenting and saying, this is how things should be done as a father of opposition.
Well, he's probably politically exhausted as well. I mean, he's been at this thing for over 40 years now?
More than 40 years. More than 40 years. And again, you might want to even to think about the position of the AU, which he
is garnering for.
Of course. So again, he is supporting the government probably because he really won that position of the AU
chairmanship.
So that he can go and retire. He can go and retire there comfortably. So pia si tunaweza sema mzee asisumbuliwe sana kwa sababu anataka hiyo position ya AU. And remember, there is a lot of conmanship within the political parties. Again, there is a lot of conmanship within the political leaders space. So we are really watching very closely to see what will happen in future, especially in this position which Raila is vying for. Because in the past, like half an year, we have not seen him talking so much and even bringing government into account on many issues. We have not seen him.
We've not seen him, which I think, we are at the precipice of a transitional opposition politics in Kenya. So maybe we are, or not maybe, it is, I can guarantee you for sure, when he transitions into, for example, the AU, we are going to start seeing the rebirth of a new opposition. Just because that's the other thing. We've been so accustomed to the same face and the same voices, and I don't think that a government can work well without a vigilant opposition. And when I say a vigilant opposition, I do not mean an opposition leader. One is not enough. It's usually a systemic issue. So what you want for a healthy democratic republic is you want the government as its system, and you also want an opposition, a strong, very structured system of opposition, so that it's able to come and level each other. Because otherwise, if you think that one person can become an opposition system on their own, then we end up with having a situation like we have in Kenya. So I mean, he can go to regional politics. That's not going to solve any of our problems here.
And actually, that's a problem which we have been having as Kenyan citizens. Every time things goes wrong, especially kwa serikali kuu, we look at Raila. Every time things goes every time. So it's high time even us. And I'm happy because we have started that. You see, now the opposition is becoming the citizens. Because when you don't see service delivery, when you don't see things happening within your area, then you have the right to oppose. You have the right to ask You are
Demand for
county government.
accountability, yes.
You have the right to ask the national government why things are not running
That is right.
the way they're supposed to run. So the opposition should start from the citizens themselves.
Yes.
You see, it's a game changer.
It
and
is.
I'm happy because of some of these systematic changes of things. Because the way we were thinking that opposition ni msemo moja, hapana. Sasa hiyo opposition si msemo moja. Wewe ambao unasikiza wewe ndio opposition katika area yenu.
That's true. Yeah.
Opposition katika area yenu, make sure that things happen within your area. If they don't happen the way they're supposed to happen,
ask questions. Ask
people questions
and follow through.
Yes. Yeah. And Gen Zs wametuonyesha hiyo story.
Amazing.
Story ni kuuliza. Na story na ni kwenda pia huko nje kufanya protest na kuhakikisha things are being done in the right manner.
That is true.
Yes.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is the Power Morning Drive Show, and you're listening to Power Radio. We are deep into our conversation, our morning conversation for today. We shall be discussing about the role of citizens in public participation and engagement, just inspired by whatever has been going on in the country. The finance bill protest has been a can of worms, really, that has led us into a revolution, that has led us into asking more questions, that has led us to even look at kujiangalia, as that song by Akina Sauti Sol was just playing previously. Yes, so we want to stick around as we talk about these things so that you can be aware of what exactly to do. You as a Kenyan citizen, what is your role? How do you participate? Where do we go from here? A revolution is not complete until whatever we are fighting for is implemented. So let's take a short musical break, and we will see you after that as we continue in our discussion. Keep it right here on Power Radio.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
I don't know, we're making a girl them love gone. This is great song. I'm a straight up Kenyan, proud to be Kenyan. How we rockin', how we bring it all as Kenyan. Just the way we love it, how we keep it as Kenyan. We eat, sleep, Kenyan. Behave as a Kenyan. My sexy ladies know how to put it out Kenyan. How we rockin', how we bring it all as Kenyan. How me flow Jamaican, kick rolls like Brazilians. Keeping reggae music flowing, balling like Olympians. Same time for American, same time Kenyan. How me stand straight, you can ask my Italian designer. Me suit and the Rolex on my right hand, mic on my right hand, the ladies on the front, telling on the haters that them better they attack. Not try to flinks on my ear out the dark. Try get the vibe and you try make your own. Try get the lyric and you compare the measure. Man, you better keep it cool, real Sundays and the truth. Keeping it, swinging it, just like the view. Straight up Kenyan, proud to be Kenyan. How we rockin', how we bring it all out. Kenyan, that's the way we love it, how we keep it tight. Kenyan, we eat, sleep, Kenyan, behave as a Kenyan. My sexy ladies know how to put it out. Kenyan, how we rockin', how we bring it all out. Kenyan, I wonder why some people wanna pull me down the beach. I wonder why them getting by them lying and shit. Never take the time to see them wholly appropriate. Always coming at us with them whole bag of tricks. I'm telling them once, I'm telling them twice again. What's God given nobody can change. So you better love your partner as yourself. Rates and I'm coming up straight to your brain. Give them the pressure, mind your beats. Show them that you're proud, that you're minding your peace. Straight up Kenya, proud to be Kenya. How we rockin', how we bring it all out. Kenya, just the way we love it, how we keep it tight. Kenya, we eat, sleep, Kenya, behave as a Kenya. My sexy ladies know how to put it out. Kenya, how we rockin', how we bring it all out. Kenya, I'm picking up my country and I'm picking up a tape. God bless, we get more of everything sweet. Head stuff to one another and cooperate. Every Kenyan everywhere. Big up loud, every Kenyan everywhere. You know, say you're proud, every Kenyan everywhere. Big up loud, every Kenyan everywhere. You know, say you're proud. Pose, pose, pose. Get him the signal, get him the signal, get him the signal. Pose, pose, pose. Rock away, pose, rock away, pose, rock away, pose, pose. Get him the signal, get him the signal, get him the signal, get him the signal. Rock away, rock away, rock away, rock away. Straight up Kenya, proud to be Kenya. How we rockin', how we bring it all out. Kenya, just the way we love it, how we keep it tight. Kenya, we eat, sleep, Kenya, behave as a Kenya. My sexy ladies know how to put it out. Kenya, how we rockin', how we bring it all out. Kenya, straight up Kenya, proud to be Kenya. How we rockin', how we bring it all out. Kenya, just the way we love it, how we keep it tight. Kenya, we eat, sleep, Kenya, behave as a Kenya. My sexy ladies know how to put it out. Kenya, how we rockin', how
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Proud to be Kenyan. That's something that is in question and it's playing right here on Red Sun. I mean, the many things. Are you proud to be Kenyan this morning? Are you feeling proud to be Kenyan, Mr. Kamau?
Of course, I have to feel
You have
that
to feel
pride of Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is making you feel proud to be Kenyan?
One, it's because of the compassion and even the love that many people have.
Yeah.
And another thing is because of how people have seen that it is their responsibility to ensure that they put leaders into account. Many times tulikuwa tunaona hawa hesh ati hawa hesh wenye tumewachagua tunaona ati hawa ni watu wa maana sana. Sasa niambie ni mheshimu gani, especially ule mwenye alivote yes ameingia kwa hizo mamita. Wengi wao wako mafichoni.
Manze
wanajua citizens waliwaambia you guys hii kitu hatuitaki. Alafu wakaenda
kufua watu.
Alafu president pia akawaonyeshaji citizens wamesema hii kitu si poa. Na nyinyi ndio maana there's a word that was trending some other time called tugege. You know
what
tugege? Tugege is people who are, you know how you use a remote control? It's people who are
remote control.
Yes, they are remote controlled.
Like puppet?
The citizen says Muhesh.
Yes.
Our friend Muhesh. Remember, sisi tulikuchagua kwa sababu you need to represent us in the parliament. Actually, tunaweza jirepresent tukiwa wote. Ni venye our constitution say tutachague mtu mmoja ili akue atu represent. Sawa?
Yes.
Sasa we umeenda huko kuto represent and this is only one thing on the finance bill. Tukakwambia hii kitu iko na very punitive tax. Please, we don't want it as citizens. We don't want it as citizens.
Right.
We as people who voted you to represent us, we have told you we don't want it. So what do? You go there and you vote yes. And then what happens? When you outrage and you do protest, what happens? Again, you vote that thing yes with amendment. Yes, guys, we are telling you. We are telling you we don't want this thing. I mean, when we uski, let me tell you, and that's why they call that bad word together. And then that bill is taken to the president to assign.
Yes.
What does the president do?
Anasema
hii kitu nawarudishia huko nyinyi kama wabunge.
Decide.
But we had already told you. Man, this thing we don't want it. I mean, so now what happens in many of those constituencies? Wengi wao in those constituencies, especially the guys from those constituencies, wamekasirika sana na those MPs.
That's right. That's right.
Whether you have been doing so many good things, but this particular one, you did it very wrong. Na ni kitu watu wengi ilikuwa kwa limelight, and people are saying there's a lot of punitive taxes within the bill.
That's true.
I mean, that is a classical example of telling the citizens that you have the right even to recall that leader, even to recall that member of parliament. And again, that's another thing which is trending to many of the constituencies. They're saying they can recall their members of parliament. I don't know how that goes. That's another story which you need to watch. Because again, when we're discussing about civic right, civic responsibility, we are discussing about the issues of the citizens knowing and understanding on what they have to do on their civic issues. Yes.
Oh, wow. That is well said, well put. Moving on, we're still in the papers. To page 8 of the Daily Nation, we have a story there about the former Migori governor, Mr. Okoth Obado. So the trial of former Migori governor Okoth Obado, his 4 children and others in a 505 million corruption case began yesterday. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission through lead investigator Robert Rono, revealed how it covered crucial evidence from Mr. Obado's bedroom and that of his son. Mr. Rono, who was the first to testify in the corruption case against Obado and his 4 children, Dan Achola Okoth, Susan Scarlett Okoth, Jerry Zachary Okoth, and Evelyn Zachary, said the police raids yielded a lot of crucial evidence. Among the documents produced were those from Central Bank of Kenya, KCB Cooperative Bank, Kenya Power, and a number of companies that were involved in the graft. Also received were documents on properties in upmarket areas of the capital. Mr. Rono said that the properties included a 34 million house in Loresho, other house in Karen, 3 properties near State House, Green Gardens apartment in Lavington, and others in Athi River, Machakos County, and Migori County. I mean, I don't know, but... This can get my head spinning. Graft in this country is very well wedded with impunity of leaders as well. And the same way we are seeing a revolution, I also want to see a revolution of the same thing towards leaders, especially people who hold power. Yes.
It's absolutely sad.
Maddening.
There's a verse in the Bible that says, what does it take to have all those things, but lose
your soul?
Yeah.
Or lose your soul.
Ni aibu sana kwa governor, watoto wake, familia yake. Yeye amekuwa governor in an area where it's a poverty-stricken area. That area iko na shida sana. Especially when you talk about issues to do with health issues. The issues to do with maternal health. Yeah? When you talk about issues to do with infrastructure. You place iko na shida sana. And then what governor was doing, together with the family, wanaiba pesa ya wananchi.
Because obviously.
Pesa ya wananchi. And let me tell you, this is a classical example of what is happening in many of those other counties. And that's why when we talked about, again, Occupy Parliament, I think the next thing would be Occupy those counties. There are so many corruption issues which are happening within those counties. Because already they have a big budget. When they have a big budget, what do they do? They use those budget kujitajirisha hao wenyewe. It is sad. It is sad, and leave alone that wanatumia family zao
as cover up. First of all, why would you sacrifice your own bloodline?
Imagine wanatumia family zao at the interest of the whole other citizens within those communities. It's a shame. So when we're talking about integrity, sometimes we talk about integrity, we talk about values, we talk about principles, and most important thing, we talk about the fear of God. So in many of our leaders are not fearing God. I mean, that integral part, they don't have it. That value system. Why again would you be at the podium talking about the values and the system which you uphold, and then wale watoto wako ambao unawaongelesha au ndio unawatumia kuiba mali ya serikali? Watakuwa aji hao watoto? Watakuwa aji? At the end of the day, when you talk about those hard-earned cash, while you are working, you are feeling that, you feel proud that you are working and you are getting money rightfully. Lakini sasa, umeonyesha watoto wako,
this is the way to go.
This is the way to go. Integrity, value principles. Value principles. Zile mtoto wana grow, umemuonyesha wizi. Hata akiingia in those leadership
positions, it's gonna be the same thing. Trickle down factor.
It is absolutely sad. And then what even makes me even more sad is the aspect of this guy was found that he had stolen 2 billion shillings.
2 billion.
2 billion shillings. And then there was an out of court agreement
of
with the EACC of 500 million. So that is a quarter of the money.
Yeah. So the rest?
So na ukiangalia zile vitu ambazo zilichukuliwa they are worthy about 505 million. Na amekuwa na kesi ya kujibu ya 2 billion shillings.
Yes.
So that means you already have 1.5 billion shillings.
Still
so what we asking ourselves as citizens, sasa nyinyi governor muibe, alafu mkiiba mtoke huko nje mkuwe na out of court agreement with the ICC ya kwamba mumeiba 10 billion, rudisha 2 billion, alafu hizo zingine ukae nazo. Does it really make sense? Does it really make sense?
No.
This is another story which we need also to watch so much, because
closely.
Again, it is on issues of accountability. It is issues especially for thinking about ule mzazi wa Migori, ule mtoto ambaye ni shule.
Yes.
Thinking about ile hospitali ambayo ina dawa huko Migori, na pesa ilikuwa pocketed na bado. It is absolutely
it's a bad look.
It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I rejoin again. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a classical example of how these leaders are doing within ourselves. Look at Murkomen. Juzi tuliona Murkomen ana show off nini? Ati Murkomen ana show off a watch worthy 900,000. I don't know whether this
on
is true.
On social media?
A belt worth 40,000 shillings.
Do you know what you need to be flaunting? A working airport. Their airport was leaking. Him being the cabinet secretary of infrastructure, please flaunt, as you flaunt your 900,000 worth watch, I want you to flaunt the roads that we have put you there to ensure that we have, okay? I want you to flaunt the things that are working, our public infrastructural setups and properties. Make sure that you flaunt that as well.
Tell him.
No, because
tell him more.
What
tell him
does this country come
to?
First of all, it's very unsolicited, right? Nobody needs to know. This is not something that you should be doing in the current temperature of the country, where Kenyans are outraged and we are going out to the streets to protest against the same mishandling of funds. And I mean, no, I'm not coming for him. It's his money. He can do whatever he wants to do it. But it begs a question, right? Me, as I've said, if you want to flaunt your things, also flaunt the work that you are doing. That's all I'm going to say. Yes.
Even talking about that front, a shoe valued 70,000 Kenya shillings.
70,000.
And a tie of 20,000 Kenya shillings.
Wow.
Hey, girl, this is... anyway, I don't know whether this is true, but it
is true. It's in the papers.
But it is actually, I say, it's a classical example of our leaders.
Yeah.
It's a classical example of our leaders.
That's so
we
embarrassing.
elected our leaders so that they can be able to make sure that they are managing our country in the right manner possible.
That
but
is
what
so
they are doing, it's definitely not, because we would really want to see that principle of integrity and also that aspect of accountability being done and even followed within our leaders. It is sad to see what is happening. And again, especially when we're having a lot of challenges within our young people. And that's why the young people, get mad, they get angry. And again, they do what? They do a lot of protest because of such kind of shows.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, that's a good place to take a breather, because we need to breathe in this country. You can deal with bad news and bad news after bad news. We have come to the top of the hour, meaning that in the next hour we shall be talking about our conversation for today, which is the role of citizens in public participation and engagement. Just building up on our conversation that we've already set a precedence for. Remember, you can engage us on our social media platforms. We are at Power Radio across TikTok. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and X. You can also catch this live broadcast on YouTube at Power Radio. If you haven't subscribed, head on over to YouTube and subscribe. We can also be found on our website, www.power254.org/Power Radio. For now, let's get into some music and we come back with our day's conversation. Keep it right here on Power Radio.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Kwa majina ni Yana. Iane.
Alex is on the beat.
Weka mziki, leo nataka kucheza. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa party, tunataka kucheza. Shida ni mingi, leo nataka kucheza. You know, we just wanna party and enjoy. Leo lazima nyama kwa wingi, ugali kidogo, pombe kwa wingi, chesa kidogo, mapenzi kwa wingi, chuki kidogo, situzitoke mdogo. For the sun fits on us, tujibambe pamoja. For the sun fits on us, tulewe pombe pamoja. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Holla the man them, holla the girl them. What I want every day we do it for the fun them. Sexy ladies in the party, man about money and you know it's an anthem. Give thanks to the Most High. Every day a blessing you see and we multiply. Bigger picture now your good side. A bigger picture now your good side. Jaba kwa wingi ngoi kidogo, usiogope choma foto. Pigia Cindy, pigia Jojo, leo tunarudi soko. Cause I know you sacrifice, tujibambe pamoja. I know you sacrifice, situchome kimoja.
It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare.
Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare. Osio, kago tora guito, okage idia, you know I don't know. Nane oe, akora gwale monoki, onake oe, kora goni ete monoki. Oh, ikeda kaira tu, karasina bisa, karasina bisa. Yeah, in my hand, in my hand, in my hand, in my hand, yeah, in my hand, in my hand.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Irosh fading out with his song Nimaheni. I love to see, the new school taking on the baton from the old school and sort of giving us some nice contemporary sounds right there. And it's playing right here on Power Radio. This is the Power Morning Drive Show, Nairobi's biggest conversation, if we do say so ourselves. My name is Wanyoike, and I am in studio, not alone. I'm joined by our very own James Kamau. And we want to get into our conversation of today, yeah? We've already been talking a little bit about that, but let's now get into the meat and the bones of it. We shall be discussing the role of citizens in civic engagement. You know how we do. Every Wednesdays, we call this special show edition the Retai Wednesdays. Retai is an acronym. An acronym that means rights, inclusion, accountability, transparency for accountable institutions, which James Kamau is going to tell us what that is, who is our partner, and how are we doing so far.
Thank you, Anne. Mm-hmm. You said it very well. Mm. Every Wednesday, we are here to discuss Retai. And Retai is a project which we are implementing together with Uraya, Haki Africa, Friends of Lake Turkana, Muslim Women, Commission of Administrative Justice. Yes. And of course, it's funded by Norwegian
Embassy.
Ministerial Embassy.
Yeah.
The tagline for the project is Empowering Kenya. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about Empowering Kenya, what are we doing as different organizations to empower Kenya? Mm-hmm. Each organization is taking or is implementing the project in different counties.
Right.
For Power 254, we're implementing the project in 3 counties. That is Nairobi, Kajiado, and Nakuru. But as I said, remember, all of us as organization, we are doing this project with a goal of empowering Kenya. Empowering Kenya means that we are all ensuring that we give the right information to Kenyans so that as they do what they're supposed to do, especially when it comes to aspects of civic right, they are doing it from a point of evidence,
yes,
and also they are doing it from a point of information. Yes. So far, I would say from our end as Power 254, we are working very closely with the social justice centers. And I would really want to applaud the different social justice centers who really participated, especially in the protest on the finance bill. We had Maadhare Social Justice Center, participating, and also we had Kajiado Social Justice Center participating in the protest. So when you talk about empowering Kenya, it's the aspect of giving information to the Kenyans so that they are able to do what they're supposed to do from a point of information.
It must have been so rewarding to see the widespread Kenyan spread protests,
Yes, and even in Nakuru, we saw many of them getting organized.
Yes,
because our key issue as we work with social justice centers in Kajiado and Nairobi, in Nakuru, we are working with organized group, and what is important in Nakuru is that some of those groups have started to do registration. Yeah, that means that when it comes to the issue of sustainability, they are moving towards sustainability. That means what? They are able to do their activities, whether Power 254 is there or not. Yeah, because they will continue, they will outlive the project. And this is the key aspect of implementing the project, especially project which are for social change. So we want to improve how community and societies perceive some of these projects. And that's why for us is to empower them, is to give them information, is to make them organized. And then when they are organized, they can be able now to tackle the problems which are within their ward level and at the county level. And that's the best thing. That's the best thing. It's one of the ideology which happen in many of the churches. And I like what happens in some of the churches. Of course, Kenyans are not happy because the church sometimes have been very quiet. But in some circumstances, I like what happens in local churches. Local churches are able to mobilize the people within their local areas, and they're able to know the problems within their areas. And it happens especially in rural areas. I don't know whether it happens at the
urban
churches
areas.
at the urban centers. Ama ni ile mse anaenda church alafu anatoka anaenda nyumbani. But in rural areas, I've seen that proper organizations.
Because there's a sense of community.
Those aspects of community mingling and aspect of being together.
Living, yes.
It's the same thing. It's the same strategy that we are using as Ritai, that let's organize this community. Let this community become together. Let us give them information.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And for us, we started with giving them information on public finance management. Public finance management is what we are talking about. It's a finance bill, which they said, I mean, this thing is not going in the right manner. And they organized themselves nauko, and even as they were doing or holding the government into account, it didn't come from the organization. It came from them. They felt that this is not right. So for us, we started there. We even went ahead and did what we call social accountability initiative, and we introduced them to a very compact, important social accountability tools which they used to ensure that as they go out there, they are looking and they're interrogating project from a point of information. Remember, this is an area which is very gray. This is an area which many of the citizens don't want to interfere with. And that's why we had said many citizens don't want to discuss about politics. They think that politics is politicians. Of course, when you talk about politics, we are talking about policies. Politics is a Greek word which means policies. So policies are made in where? They're made in parliament. Whether it is national government, it's at the national parliament. At the county government, it's made at the county assembly. So those policies are the instrument which govern us. So we are governed by policies which are made within the different institutions of the government. If the policies don't favor us, then we have a challenge. And that's why many times we say, hiyo policy sio mzuri kwetu sisi. Unaona? So it is sometimes absurd when you hear citizens saying that they don't want to be involved in politics. If you say you don't want to be involved in politics, then don't be involved in policies. And therefore that's to say that you're nowhere. Because we are all guided, and institutional framework.
Yes.
And some of those frameworks, they are policies which govern us.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So now let's go back, because a lot of this conversation will be in light of we would call it the Gen Z revolution and the finance bill revolution that has been. So we've seen that people have come out and there was a lot of excitement, in the air, that people are finally waking up, to what their role should be, in participating in these things, whether it's holding their leaders accountable and everything that you have talked about right there. So as an implementer's point of view, and you having seen what this could potentially be, because we keep saying that they have only gone out there because they have read the constitution, they've read the finance bill, they were able to go through step by step, understanding the intricacies of what they are going out there to march forward for it. So how do we then ensure that the work that you do and the work that we do as Retai is sustained, so that it's not just a one-off thing, that we only have this finance bill revolution, then we go back to our life, and then we until the next big thing happens. Yeah, so how do you sustain a movement, given that right now it's Gen Zs? Are we creating space for the alphas to also, the generation that comes after Gen Z is called Generation Alpha? Are we creating spaces for them to also be plugged into whatever is happening? So from an implementer's point of view, how do you sustain a movement? How do you sustain this civic engagement so that it's not just, so that it's meaningful and more impactful? Yeah.
That's a good question, Anne. Because, right now, when we are talking about the issues of, sustainability, especially of a certain movement, we would more be interested on addressing a problem.
Yeah.
Because the protest arose because of the finance bill.
Yes.
But right now, it's no longer the issues of the finance bill. And that's the best thing. It's no longer the issues of the finance bill. It's more than the finance bill.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the very first thing, when you talk about sustainability, already it has its course. Because people are saying, wait a minute.
There's more.
Story of finance bill peke yake.
Yes.
It's not about
the finance bill.
It's not about the punitive taxes that the government is doing to the citizens.
It's a systemic issue.
Of course, it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
So the citizens have the right to express themselves. And they started to express themselves. And another key thing is that the way the citizens have expressed themselves and they have organized themselves is not using how it has been done. Na huko nyuma.
Yes.
Na huko nyuma, we had a certain leader who many people followed. And that's why if the leader bent right,
yeah, you go.
You go that way. If he bent the other way, as guys who followed the other way. But right now it's not about that. People have organized themselves in spaces of the social media.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, as guys who are leaderless, we are tribeless. Yeah. Hakuna mtu ati yako hapo atatuambia tutadu hivi, tutadu hivi, ati ndio kiongozi wetu. Hapana. Sisi tushajipanga kwa the social media. I talk about the importance and the power of technology in this thing.
Yes.
Because we cannot underestimate how many people have used technology to create social change. Remember our work here, in many circumstances, we are using art for social change.
Yeah.
And one of the art is the social media. The social media is an art. It's
yes.
an important art.
Yes.
For social change.
Any medium of exchange is an art.
And you know what? When you talk about, again, sustainability, this thing is spreading even in other countries. And for a minute, let's remove the face of Gen Z. But
Oh,
let's put the face of the real citizens and the challenges which they're having.
Yeah.
And that's why they said, we first need to understand the problem which we are facing. It's no more of the finance bill. There's so many problems within our...
lying underneath.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we saw yesterday what the president did. Our problem was the IBC. We don't have an IBC
bill
commission or bill in Kenya. But the citizen has said,
we don't want...
Hey, wait. We don't have a IBC bill.
Yeah.
But if one of our demand was IBC bill.
Right.
And it happened. Yeah? The other thing which they are pushing is the dialogue. The dialogue, and I think they say that the dialogue will happen next week. Next week.
Yes.
I don't know the framework, the organization of that dialogue. But at least it has started. At least something has started. Yeah? But I think more important is to look the whole issue from a point of making sure that, citizens understand their civic duties. And how do they understand their civic duties?
Yeah.
They understand their civic duties by getting the right information.
That's right.
That brings me to the aspect of civic education.
Yeah.
What Power 254 is doing is to ensure that it educate the community so that they are able to understand hii inasema hivi, hii katiba yetu inasema hivi, katiba katika national government or county government inasema hivi.
Yeah.
These are the roles of the MPs. These are the roles of the MCAs. These are the roles of the governor. These are the role of the president. This is what we're supposed to do to ensure that you're putting them into to account.
Yes.
So that is the first thing.
Yeah.
The aspect of civic education.
Right.
The second thing, which from our end, which we have started as we talk about that aspect of sustainability, is to push those different, groups and organizations which we are working with at the different counties. We are pushing them to ensure that they are organized. Yeah? And being organized, again, is to make sure that they are, as they have the information, they're also recognized by the government by doing by getting certificates and doing registration, but as well as making sure that we are linking them with different organizations, either at the local level and also at the international level, so that, again, they can be able to get some resources which can favor them so that they implement some of the activities.
Amazing.
But more important at the national level is how citizens can be organized, whether be organized virtually, whether be organized online, but they're organized for a cause.
Yeah.
And that's the best sustainability which we can look at. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. We are thick into the discussion of our day. We are looking at citizen engagement and the role of citizen, civic education in perpetuating and accelerating the processes of civic engagement on this very special edition of the Power Morning Drive Show. We call it the #Retire Wednesday. So if you have any questions regarding your role as a citizen, please hit us up on our social media platforms and we will be sure to engage with you on that. For now, let's get into some musical break and we will see you right after that musical break. Keep it right here on Power Radio.
Power Radio.
I see you came to party.
Power up.
Banange Moses Amaradis, party like this, dance to my pesadis. Banange Moses Amaradis, Saudi soul baby go combination this. Usanya na maranga gakukute, ugazanyi sanga gakukute. Usanga nechimame chakukude, uchisanga nochi wakasimbe chakukude. And every party like this, we party till morning come. And every party like this, we party till morning come. Batutuka yo mubyenda, weita walete byokunywa basajja benda. Demuchansa bachireta, weita walete byokunywa bachala benda. Zinyuma baba zinyuma, zinyuma baluganda zinyuma. Siri kusiri rudisha nyuma.
to party, and you're looking for love in all the wrong places. Shawty, look my way, look my way. Kimala mala najibeba so, kila wakati nikuona po, na nikizidi kata majima, nazungululu muchitandacho.
Batutuka yo mubyenda, waita walete byokunywa basajja benda. Demo chansa bachileta, waita walete byokunywa bachala benda.
Woma, ulira, wakwata kwata no yuzo mutima. Banange, you're a winner. What your mama gave you is a killer.
Zinyuma, baba zinyuma. Zinyuma, waluganda zinyuma.
Zidiku zidiku dijanyuma. You're such a beautiful woman.
Zinyuma, baba zinyuma. Zinyuma, waluganda zinyuma.
Zidiku zidiku dijanyuma. You're such a beautiful woman.
Zanagenda kone babo kusubule kochi twada mu malwane baba. Laba we batutwala kakasente kokusobola champisa bubi ne baba. And every party like this, we party till morning come. And every party like this, we party till morning come.
Kimala mala najibeba so, kila wakati nikuona po, na nikizidi kata majima, nazungululu muchitandacho.
Zinyuma baba zinyuma, zinyuma waluganda zinyuma.
Zidiku zidiku dijanyuma. You're such a beautiful woman.
Zinyuma baba zinyuma, zinyuma waluganda zinyuma.
Zidiku zidiku dijanyuma. You're such a beautiful woman.
Zinyuma, zinyuma. Yes, oh my Rafiki.
Power Radio. Power up.
Big up, phenomenal woman. I'll see you.
Check on the check. Baby boo, say my way. Ooh, say my way. Now, say my way. Ooh, say my way. Mara ya kwanza kwenye biti ya pacho sema, tuseme mimi ni bacho sema, nikill beat kani mefunga macho sema we. Nakula kwa kijiko si kwa macho we, panganga mingi misinaga we. A big tune coming right away. Yeah. Like a little baby fresh from the womb. The Lazarus is lying in the tomb. Phenomenal step in the road. Patrol bus bring back the two sema we. Baby boo, say my way. Ooh, say my way. Ooh, hey. Now say my way. Now say my way. Ooh, say my way. Hey. Say my way, I'm coming again. Round the circle, meet again. Hey. We met before, I was meeker then. Hey. Used to be a 4, now I'm rocking a 10. Hey. You never know where this could end. Thailand, Singapore, London, bring a friend. I'll be your boo, we can go, we can Semangwe pika shot tutaenda. Chutodea semangwe utapenda. Phenomenal step in the room. Bring back the two semangwe. Baby boo, say my way. Say my way. Now say my way. Ooh, say my way.
Ah yeah. Tuna dance to the Joe phenomenal. Dance to the Chini phenomenal. Dance to the Ruga phenomenal. Phenomenal. Tuna dance to the Joe phenomenal. Tuna dance to the Chini phenomenal.
Kamilisha sente afena ngoma za konika huku Nairobi tunapenda he na tuko juu ya machi, hatuna wakati ya watufe hawanaga kakitu kwa ba nimeji munde na fe leta noma fena pop pena boom, a little baby fresh from the like Lazarus is lying in a when we step in the room. Ooh, sema we. Boo. Baby boo, sema we. Sema we. Na unasema we. Sema tuko tupacho kwani boss. Nikipita unasema ngwe. Nikifika unasema ngwe. Ukipita unasema ngwe. Sema ngwe nikuguse kwa mwili. Sema ngwe iko kamili.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Every day is a brand new day. Every time that I see your face, you're my everything and anything that I would ever need in this world. I'm so glad that you came my way. I'm loving every minute we spend, babe. You're the reason to everything that I am today. I love the way you come around and touch me. The feeling that you give me drive me crazy. I love the way you look and call me baby. Girl, you mash up my world. I love the way you come around and touch me. The feeling that you give me drive me crazy. I love the way you look and call me baby. Girl, you mash up my You're my queen. I never let you go, go. You're my queen. I never let you go, go, yeah. I'll never leave your side, baby, you know you're my world. You're everything I need, yeah. You make my days bright, brighter than the sun and the moon. You're all that I live for. You make my heart jump, you're the reason why it pumps. Girl, I come front, you're the one that I want. I can't go a day without my babe. You're my You're my queen. I never let you go, go, yeah. I promise to never break your heart. Baby, don't let what we have fall apart. I promise to never leave your side. I'ma be a provider, protector, my girl. Now that I need you and you need me, baby, let's treasure this love that we have. Baby, let's treasure this love that we have. You're my queen. I never let you go. You're my queen. I never let you go, go, yeah. You're my queen. I never let you go, go. You're my queen. I never let you go, go, yeah.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
My Queen, the Longombas. It's playing right here on Power Radio. This is the Power Morning Drive Show, and I'm your host, Anne Wanyoike, and I'm not alone. I am in studio with James Kamau, and we have been discussing about the role of citizens in civic engagement. And so, to just continue with our conversation today, Mr. Kamau, civic engagement is not as simple as it might look on paper. Of course, there are some challenges that come with it, So what are some of these challenges, and how has Ritai been able to offer a solution to some of those challenges?
One of the challenges that we mention when we're talking about civic engagement is the challenge of fear. And remember, we are discussing that issue so much. Right now, people are fearing.
Yeah.
Because when you're expressing your right, you're expressing your right to a person or to people who are in leadership, and they don't want to listen to the specific right which is entrenched in the Constitution. So that means what? That means because they don't want to listen, and again, because we want to hold them into account, you fear that they will come after you.
Yeah.
And this is a thing which, even as the protest has been going on, many people are fearing, especially some of the people who were seen, like, in quote, that they are leading the protest. They are fearing that the government will come after them. Yeah?
Yes.
Remember, when we are talking about civic rights, we are talking about expression of how you feel and how your country should be governed.
Yeah.
So that fear is there with so many people around, and I think that's a big issue which we need to address, because when you talk about issues to do with civic rights, that means that this thing is done by one person. No, it's not a one person thing. It's a group thing. So addressing that thing, it is important for people to know that however much we are pushing on an issue, we are not pushing on issues, or issues are not being pushed to benefit one person. They are being pushed to benefit a community.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow.
Because if there are changes within our community,
Yeah.
it will not benefit a one person.
Yeah.
It will benefit, a bigger chunk of the community. So even if they take that specific person, again, there is another group of a person or of people who are pushing toward improvement of a certain issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a thing which many young people and even many citizens have when it talks about issues on civic rights. Because again, like in some of the counties, you hear that some money has been embezzled by the county government.
Yes.
There's no documentation. And therefore, you are going to check, or you are going to hold them accountable because of that embezzlement of money. So what happens? They retract by sending some goons so that to stop you from doing that.
Yes.
So there's that fear. Either fear of unknown or fear of known issues.
Yes.
And that's a big challenge.
Yes.
That's a big challenge.
Yes.
We are trying so much to promote the aspect of doing things as a group, because when you're
there's
doing
power
things as
in
a group,
numbers.
yes. There's a lot of unity.
Yeah.
And even the following would be that it's not a single person who's being followed, but a group. Yeah, in the same case, which the Gen Z did within the social media. I mean, it's a thing which they did at the X space.
Yeah.
So we are not following. The government can't follow one person.
Yes.
They follow one. I mean, it's a myriad of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. Yeah.
So that is one of the challenges. And then the second challenge, which I think it has been overcome, is the aspect of many of the citizens. They had been, requesting some facilitation or some money so that they go and interrogate or continue to do their work in the civic space. And you know what? This thing is changing.
Right.
Because the moment you are given some money to follow something which it's at the bottom of your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then You see, the best thing with the protests, which we had for Gen Zs, they were not politically integrated. I mean, there was no money which was being used. I mean, it's about the passion. It's about people being driven by an agenda to see the country being governed in the right manner.
Right.
I mean, I saw young people, about 90% of the population who participated in those, protests.
Yeah.
They have never participated in protest
before. Some of them,
but
this
they
is their first time. Yep.
They were not given any
incentive.
There was no a single organization which was funding that thing. I mean, it's about passion. It's about them wanting to see some changes within the country. And I mean, and I think this is where we should be driving our country into. Not the aspect ati we're boss. Ati kwa sababu unaenda kuparticipate kwa mambo ambayo ni yako. Ati kwa sababu umeitwa kwa public participation katika area yako, you need some money to participate on the project within your area, then you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, you should go there whether there's
money or not.
And actually, because you are going there to practice your democratic
rights,
and to push for things which would be happening within your own country.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's a great thing. Again, the issues of apathy. The apathy has been a very, very, very
big problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where people
feel that they don't want to participate in the affairs of the country because of
inakuhusu nini?
Hii story
hainihusu.
Sasa si tumeona hiyo maneno imeanza kubadilika. Hii story inakuhusu bana.
Inakuhusu
kama unataka kuparticipate kwa mambo ya finance bill,
tanunua mkate 500.
Alafu social media, if things increase, if mabundles increase, inakuaffect. Kwa hivyo story inakuhusu. Kwa hivyo hapa sasa hiyo story tunaanza inaanza
dwindle kiasi.
Unaona sasa hiyo kwanza hiyo imekuwa shida sana, lakini sasa hii tunaonaje hiyo story imeanza kufanya nini?
Kuishia.
Sasa hiyo story ya apathy imekuwa sana. So we are telling even kwa wale ambao wako county, man, wacheni hiyo story ati kujisikilia huruma, ati kusema ati kwa sababu last time hawakuchukua views zetu hatutaenda tena. Man, and then organize yourself and then practice your civic duty.
Yes.
Participate. Follow up and make sure that as you do that, you are doing it from a point of information.
Amazing.
Yes.
Wow. So, people have always been very skeptical about this, I would call this decentralized organizing.
Yes.
Because that's what it was. There was no particular leader or face to this thing. People were organizing from a very decentralized point of view because it was everyone, everywhere at any given particular point. And so we've seen its success. So then my next question then would be, so what next? We have organized, we have gone out to the public, we have said no, we do not want this. What is the conversation going to look like, even from a retired point of view? Now that you're not only going to the communities back to tell them about things that they have not seen that they can work, it means that you change the course of how we do the civic education space. Yeah, so what changes right now that we have an incentive, these things can actually work. Yes. They actually do work. So how do you change course moving forward?
Like I said before, you see that aspect of negative attitude by the citizens? You see, that's a discourse which is changing. Because many of them, they had a lot of negative attitude of issues which are happening within their country, issues which are happening within their world. But now that thing is changing. Because many of them have seen that, if we don't do ABCD, then it will be a problem
for us.
Yeah,
directly.
The second thing is the aspect of getting the right information, access to information, and these are things which many Kenyans have been struggling on. And when we're talking about pushing this thing to another level, is to say that are people understanding the cause?
Yes.
Are you understanding the cause of this thing?
Right.
Because right now it's not about finance bill.
Yes.
It's about other issues.
It's about, it's about the Kenyan people.
But do you have information on what we want to do, on what you want to see changing in your country? Yeah? Because if you don't have information, how do you get those information? And that's why many people are still talking about the aspect of corruption and accountability and how it trickles down to the county government, and how, again, we as citizens, kwa sababu sisi wote tumetoka those counties, what can we be able to do to ensure that we are addressing the problem of corruption and accountability at the county level?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Then that brings the question, which I said, on access to information. How, again, do we access those information which can assist us to hold the leaders at the county level accountable?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So that's a big 100,000 question. And that's why, even as Power 254, we are working very closely with the Commission of Administrative Justice, because they are mandated by the Constitution to ensure that they safeguard the aspect of access to information within the country.
Right.
Yeah. So therefore, as you interrogate, as you try to think of a problem, then again try to think of a solution with. And again, try to think on how you can be able to get information or acquire information from the different county and national level, and then you interrogate it from the point of information.
Got it.
Yeah?
Got it.
I saw the government forming a task force to address the issues of audits. Yeah, you saw that?
Yes.
And I want to thank and applaud the president of the Law Society of Kenya, because what she did, they said, no, we don't want to be part of that task force. Why? Because the Auditor General has said there is irregularity in ABCD.
Right.
There is a lot of audit queries in some of the national and the county government.
That's right.
Pending.
Yes.
And these are the recommendations. These are the reports. The Auditor General has been doing very good reports. Yeah? And those reports have been published at the, at the website of the Auditor General. And they're open for the public scrutiny. But now, the government is forming a task force.
Yes.
A task force for what? And the recommendations are there. Yeah, this was the money. This is how the money was spent, and this is the irregularities of the money. I mean, so how again do we form a task force?
Yeah.
Yeah. What will we be addressing the aspect of the task force?
Yeah.
So when I talk about the aspect of access to information, it is important that the citizens also are able to get the right information.
That's true.
So that as they're interrogating from a point of information. Because again, you don't go shout, you don't go posing from kama hauna information. Because even when you are holding a sit-down dialogue or having some form of civic education, you are doing it from a point of knowing that this is
knowledge.
The information we have.
Yep.
And this is how this information will be used to deal with the challenge which we are facing now.
Amazing. Wow. Naona muda kidogo unatupa kisogo, so I think hapo ni a good place to leave the conversation for today. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on Power Radio on matters, civic education. We do this again next Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Sawa. Thank you so much for coming through. Yes, we are going to take one song and then I'll come back and just conclude the show. This is Power Radio.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Kwa Douglas.
toshaskia tukiingia ni kublast huko ngabadu na chuklo madam so anguka nao itabaki meflow na vibe anguka nao koko single for now mdagris mteja patikani hadi late night saa 6 ndo taniwai nikupini location na nikofana na hii sukate call niko chomba ya G mimi najua utakuwa irizo riris acha nikushow kwanza form ya Didon nishashika mpoa na twende chini kwa chini akiwa hadi na mini sasa tunasikiza Shin City tuna feel free take a video na post pale NGC jina ni Kantel Kurapsi ni talent G anguka nao anguka nao cheki anguka nao twende down low now stand up to your feet mikono juu alafu click tuliza pesa alafu one leg anguka nao one leg anguka nao anguka nao anguka nao anguka nao
anguka nayo kama uko na new catch anguka nayo kona pati na magwash anguka nayo round 2 kwa hii bash anguka nayo ati anguka nayo ati anguka nayo anguka nayo anguka nayo ati anguka nayo ati anguka nayo na katika msupa webanjuka cheza chini ukikondezo madhuta anguka nayo baby girl ushaitika mdagi matisho za wadagi step ama darling tambu serikali juni serikali tamka asali simnachwa ni nani flow mshati ki don medunga hapo down ni chi utekiwa poa daily miti sikia beba anguka nao anguka nayo 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 ati anguka nayo mtupa me feel relaxed anguka nayo kama uko na new catch anguka nayo kama unapati na magwash anguka nayo round 2 kwa hii bash ati
anguka nayo anguka nayo anguka nayo anguka nayo
ati anguka nayo kama uko na new catch anguka nayo kona pati na magwash anguka nayo round 2 kwa hii bash anguka nayo ati
anguka nayo anguka nayo anguka nayo anguka nayo
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
That is Wadiglis with their very hit single Anguka Nayo. Na vile si udu tunaanguka nayo, make sure you unaanguka na sisi pale Power Radio. I am sad that we've come to the end of our show today. Thank you so much to everybody who was able to tune into the Kenya's biggest conversation, if we do say so ourselves, on the Power Morning Drive Show. I have been your host, Wanyoike, and I'm just signing out here because, you know, in this Nairobi weather, I have to go and get myself just jumbled up in blankets because it's the only way to cope with it. Bado niko single, so you can you can send help if at all you want to send help. But jamvi letu zinafungike, tunafungasha jamvi letu sasa hivi, lakini that is not the end of whatever we are doing on Power Radio. At 11 a.m., Miss Mudhoni Gitau comes in with the She Talks. Then later on, catch the dynamic duo of Elijah Mose and DJ CJ Kenya with Gift of Gab, with all the cool and the freshness that they be talking about today. But from me and my very amazing co-host, Mr. James Kamau, it's a sign out. We'll see you on Friday, same time, same place. Keep it right here on Power Radio. God bless. I'm out. See you. See you when I see you. I am out.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Like you care, like you care. Rangi ya mdomo kwenye shirt, nina uhakika ile marashi siyo yake.
bado yuaja kwangu kitandane, akitaka tu banane. Risiti kila kitu mbili, amejaa maalama kwenye mwili, bado yuaja kwangu kitandane, akitaka tu banane. Anamlale, anamlala na sio siri, sio habari. Anamlale, anamlala wala fichi, sio habari. Niliambiwa kupenzae atakuchiti hadharani, niliambiwa kupenzae atakustiri hadharani. Jaribu kundanganya kama wanijale, kama wanijale. Jaribu kundanganya kama wanijale, kama wanijale. Jale, 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 jale. Jale, 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 jale. Like you care, like you care, like you care. I said like you care, like you care, like you care.
Hata saa ile sidanganyi, unasema mimi nadanganya. Utasikizaje masikio yako shazibana, macho yako yanaona vitu na kuna kitu nafanya. Hapo ndo tumefika na kuongelesha, nikiona unaona niko guilty, haimata kitu nitasema. Ndani ya roho inaumizwa, nasikia wivu nikiona wale wanapendana bila kushukushuku sana. Vile inafaa, vile unataka kufanya fanya leo leo, kana panda cheo cheo nipande, kana shuka basi nianze kutafuta stage ya mine. Yeah, jifanye kama una care pia, utaniamini uone vile na kuchange ya mine.
Jaribu kundanganya kama wanijale, kama wanijale. Jaribu kundanganya kama wanijale, kama wanijale. Jale, 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 jale. Jale, 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 jale. Like you care, like you care, like you care. I said like you care, like you care, like you care.
Never let you down, never will. Sanaipenda shin to the chilla, to the chilla.
Anamlale, anamlala na sio siri, sio habari. Anamlale, anamlala wala fichi, sio habari. Jaribu kundanganya kama wanijale, kama wanijale. Jaribu kundanganya kama